Hey everyone, it's Art by C, and today I just have a quick acrylic time lapse of this painting. Um, I don't really know where I got the inspiration from. I've just been really playing around with mushrooms lately. I think they're so interesting and the different textures and colors that they have sometimes. Also, I've always liked drawing hands, so I just kind of combined the two. I mean, I've been doing that with other ones too, but this is just another way that I've combined them. With the painting, I start off with a really sloppy, chunky, wet paint, basically, and then I slowly do smaller chunks almost, and then I end finishing detail. Kind of like sloppy with acrylic, so I mean, I clean it up towards the end, but in the beginning, my first coat is just like a mess. I'm mostly like covering the part of the canvas that I'm painting so that you can't really see the canvas behind it. Also at this point, if you look to my left, to the left there's a bunny. This bunny like moves closer to me, and you'll see. And it was seriously like 3 feet away from me, and I was kind of trying to be still for a second because I didn't want it to move, and I've never been that close to a bunny. See, it's on the bottom right, and it was so close to me, and I was trying not to move, and it finally moved, but I just thought it was so cool that it trusted me and came that close to me. Anyways, yeah, and then the next part of this clip is in real time, so you can actually see the speed at which I paint. But yeah, so, I mean, I can do a more organized tutorial on how I acrylic paint. Normally I paint the whole canvas, but for some reason with this painting, I just really wanted the simplicity of the white canvas behind it. I just really liked how it looked, especially with the shadow, which you don't see quite yet, but you will towards the end. So also I kind of use bigger brushes towards the beginning just because I'm really laying out the shapes rather than trying to focus on detail. I know some people prefer to do it in like sections, which I'll do that with like watercolor obviously because you kind of have to, and with oil. With acrylic, my favorite technique is just working back to front and working all over. So like I'll pay attention to everything. You notice that I kind of skip around a lot, and if you watch the detail with like a lot of I don't know what the word is, like you're really focusing on how I paint, you'll notice that pretty much I do everything, like I skip around a lot so that everything has the same amount of detail, whether it has a bunch or not a lot. So when the cap of the mushroom starts to get detailed, the hand starts to get detailed, so on and so forth. Some people will paint their paintings like they do all the details in the hand and then maybe they'll move up, but I like to have it all at the same point basically, just because it's easier for me to see how well the painting's turning out, and whether I need to fix something, you know, proportions wise and such. It's easier if the whole painting is more unified as one, meaning whether it's more sloppy looking or more finished looking, I just like it to be the same level of completion throughout the painting. That's not necessarily always true because like with some paintings, you know, sometimes it's easier just to complete that eye and then do the other eye or something, but with most paintings I usually do it this method. I I've been painting for a while now, and I've never like got taught how to paint anything, you know, I was self-taught, so this is really just what works for me. I picked up painting pretty naturally, honestly. It's probably one of my favorite mediums just because it's so forgiving, and just you can achieve pretty much anything you want with it, I feel like. When I'm getting kind of nitty-gritty with these details here, I really water down my paint, and that's how I do a lot of details. Like really thin lines you can't do with thick paint, so I just water the heck out of my paints. Even like on the top of the fingers of the knuckles area where there's like the slight tints of red and such, I really just water down that color, kind of place it on the canvas, and we'll rub it in with my finger. So I do some things weird while I'm painting, like the watering down, or like maybe the way I jump around. I do, like I said, I do use really thick paint towards the beginning just because I hate working on like the really textured canvas. I don't know, it bothers me. So I'd rather work paint on top of paint. The other thing I like about acrylic is that it dries so fast, and I'm a pretty patient person with some things, but other things like I'm not, especially with like art. Like I have a hair dryer in my studio, so I like how fast acrylic dries. I mean, I've been working with oil and different liquids or whatever to try to make oil dry faster, and I'm starting to get used to it somewhat, coming around. But acrylics, like I said, one of my favorite mediums. I really like all mediums, so I'm not going to discriminate against the different mediums, but yeah, acrylic's very naturally, like I said. But okay, so here's the shadow. Like I said, I really like how the shadow looks just because it really adds a nice depth to it. Overall, I was pretty happy with this painting. It'll probably be on sale in my Etsy shop eventually. We'll see, and here's a close-up, and thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, share, like, yeah, bye!